Dzisiaj w nocy doszło do naruszenia przestrzeni powietrznej, polskiej przestrzeni powietrznej przez dużą liczbę rosyjskich dronów. Te drony, które stanowiły bezpośrednie zagrożenie, zostały zestrzelone. Procedury zadziałały, proces decyzyjny był bez zarzutu. Zagrożenie zostało wyeliminowane dzięki zdecydowanej postawie dowódców, naszych żołnierzy, pilotów i także sojuszników. Mamy do czynienia najprawdopodobniej z prowokacją na dużą skalę, ale równocześnie jesteśmy w konsultacjach z naszymi sojusznikami. Jestem w stałym kontakcie z sekretarzem generalnym Nato, tak aby przez najbliższych kilka godzin, dni i w dalszej przyszłości równie skutecznie jak dzisiaj w nocy działać w przypadku tego typu zagrożenia. Jest to pierwszy przypadek, kiedy doszło do zestrzelenia rosyjskich dronów nad terytorium państwa NATO i dlatego wszyscy nasi sojusznicy sytuację traktują bardzo poważnie.
Hey, it's Shaun. I thought I'd chat about last night. We were expecting a big hit yesterday. It didn't quite materialise that in Dnipro, but the west side of Ukraine was hit pretty bad. I woke up to this morning to the people shouting Article 5 and this is an act of war as some of the drones went into Poland across the border. And is it an Article 5? Probably not. Is this something that Russia's done before? Yes. Is it a pattern? Yes. Was it a probe? Probably. Was it a deliberate move by Moscow, testing both NATO's red lines and Washington's political climate? I think so. Probably more the latter. Probably more Trump is being tested in his response to NATO. But, let's take nothing away. Is this an Article 5 moment? No, probably not. No, everyone immediately jumped to Article 5. That famous line, an attack on one shall be considered an attack on all. It's a cornerstone of NATO's deterrence, to be fair. But here's the catch. Triggering Article 5 it isn't automatic. It's a political decision. The North Atlantic Council will go and meet, debate, decide whether, this drone strike or these drones entering Polish airspace was indeed an armed attack and warrants Article 5, which I don't think it does. That's why this is so dangerous. Russia knows how to really dance around the thresholds of Article 5, staying just below what might guarantee an overwhelming NATO response. Let's take nothing away. This is a pattern. We've seen this before. Russia cuts power cables in the Baltics, jams GPS around Finland, flies aircraft without transponders over the Black Sea. Each incident is designed to raise the temperature without sending it to boiling point. This is what Russia specializes in. The drones over the Poland fit this exact pattern. It's a test of nerves, a question posed not just to NATO, but directly to the United States and where Trump stands, which personally I think is going to be more of the same. Nothing. He's going to do nothing. He isn't going to say anything. He isn't going to do anything. I don't need to tell you, in fact, since his so-called peace deal, that everything's got worse. Attacks across Ukrainian cities have got worse. He's caused more problems than not. Everything he's done is aided Russia, not Ukraine, from pulling humanitarian aid to defunding war crimes departments to stopping intelligence sharing, even stopping, military support before he even got in to be president. A year-long ammunition drought stopped by him. He's not, whatever you think about Biden, Trump is far worse. At least Biden didn't stop the arms coming into Ukraine to be able to defend itself. Trump's been doing that since he's been before president. Anyway, I digress. Implications for NATO. So what happens next? NATO has already convened an emergency consultations. Poland will push for stronger air defense deployments, more forward position troops, while the US seems to want to cut defense spending on these frontline borders. I mean, is it the right time to do this? I totally agree with Trump on one thing, that NATO and Europe should spend more on defense. However, the way he's done this bull in a china shop of blanket cuts on humanitarian aid and defunding war crimes and getting rid of all the Russian specialists in his government and, stopping out. I mean, I'm under no illusion that he's favouring Putin and everything he does will favour Putin and Russia. I don't understand why. I don't really care on that. I just say the facts. We should move away from America now. We should really be dubious of whether to trust the Trump administration, even I would say in the Five Eyes. I mean, it's clear that he's aided Russia in every way to succeed in Ukraine, in my view. But the statements aren't enough. If NATO only issues words every time Russia escalates, then the alliance looks weaker and weaker, and that's kind of what I'm thinking Trump and Putin want. Is NATO to look weak when it's not. I mean, it's a formidable adversary. That's why Putin wants it destroyed. He wants it gone. He wants it out of the way so he can move more into Europe. At the moment, he's struggling. He's in a stalemate. He's stuck in Ukraine. And now his, economy is teetering on the brink. He's lose over 1 million soldiers, lost dominance of the Black Sea. He's lost his 8-year foothold in the Middle East, in Syria. I mean, this is 1/3. I can go all day. He's, 1/3 of his, tactical bombers have been destroyed in one operation by the Ukrainians. So he's not winning. I mean, his economy looks like it's, the long range are working on the refineries. I mean, he's lost over 20% of his, revenues and oil production. So, it is working. It's having a detrimental effect on his economy. So he's on borrowed time. But his fundamental principles for invading Ukraine were to denazify Ukraine, to change the regime. Most of those have been defunct already. NATO expansion, well, Sweden, Finland obviously joined NATO because of Russia's invasion. So that's failed too. And I do believe that Putin will just go down with a sinking ship, to be fair. I mean, he's not going to just stop. He will take Russia down to the last Russian and bankrupt the country before he ever decides to step down. So, it's not about anything other than we've got to win this in Ukraine by force. Anyway, I digress again. Let's get back onto the matter. Why it matters. For ordinary people, this may feel just like another headline. It's another push by Putin. You get 12 hours of Putin, 12 hours of Trump. Every day is 24 hours of just crap. Trump drawing the oxygen out of the room. If Putin didn't do it before, now all you hear is about Trump more than you do Putin. And so I think the drones hitting homes in Poland, just as they do nightly in Ukraine. This is how war expands. I mean, it's slowly through grey zone attacks until suddenly we're asking, when did they cross the line? I mean, Russia's pushing these up, keeps crossing the line. Something needs to be done, but something needs to be said by NATO, because that's what NATO was built for. A Russian threat, which is imminent. It's now. So I'll leave you with this. Last night wasn't about one damaged roof in a Polish village. It was about the credibility of NATO. So I'll leave you with this. Last night wasn't about one damaged roof in a Polish village somewhere. It was about the credibility of NATO. It's about whether Putin can peel away from the West to resolve one incident at a time, separate, pull it apart. And it was about Trump, who holds the most powerful office in the world, and how he will respond in a way that reassures allies, which is really stretched at the moment, or one that convinces Putin that he has a free hand to push further and more drones into Poland. So it is very serious, even, because some people are saying that this is an over-exaggeration and it's not. This is where we need to be tight. This is where we need to define the lines. This is where we need to say, Putin, you do that again, you're going to invoke NATO.
Poland's direct offensive military action last night is the first of its kind since Putin launched his illegal invasion in 2022. Defence Minister Kanish has rightly headed home to Poland very early this morning to deal with this attack. Russia's actions are reckless, unprecedented and dangerous. We totally condemn these attacks. And we say to President Putin, your aggression only strengthens the unity between NATO nations. And we will discuss this morning what additional support we can provide to Poland. And we say to President Putin, your aggression only strengthens our solidarity to stand with Ukraine. It reminds us that a secure Europe needs a strong, sovereign